Okay, small town Iowa. That is a cigarette tray. I've seen it in the city. I'm sitting here, watched a guy walk up, thought he was going to the store. He looked down, seen there's a cigarette or two, grabbed him, turned around, and walked off. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Yeah, this small town Iowa. So,
I got my license.
Yep, Squirrel's got her plastic. Yeah. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Yeah, I'm getting pulled over.
Yeah, that's a good thing. You can't get pulled over.
I know.
Otherwise, you'll have to wait till you're 2021.
No.
So, anyway. I've seen it all. Small town Iowa. Like I said, I've seen it in the city, but man, if you're gotta.
Why do people do that?
That's how bad their addiction is.
Oh.
They can't go without.
Oh.
That's just, yeah. Alright, I'm still not totally 100% convinced that what I figured out with the Denali yesterday is correct. So I went and talked to my buddy again. He was nice. He says, here. He gave me a wiring diagram. That's what I need. I need to get access to some of that. But I got a wiring diagram. Actually, he didn't think it printed the first time, so then it got me two of them. So he says if it says for the 5-volt reference coming out of the PCM, and he says, well, it's a good thing there's quite a few of them. So if you've got one or more missing coming out of the PCM, then he says, yeah, your computer's shot. But map sensor, fuel tank pressure sensor, AC refrigerant, engine oil, camshaft position sensor, accelerator pedal, crankshaft position sensor, and throttle body all have the 5-volt reference. So we'll go to the throttle body and see if that's got 5 volts. If that's got 5 volts, then we'll check the other ones and see. But if I go to the throttle body, that will be 3 things missing the full 5 volt, and that will definitely conclude that the ECM has died. Because I said it almost wanted to start. It's like, so it has to be getting some fuel of some kind, something. And he's like, So he was nice, went over and logged in and printed off a schematic for me. So at least now I know what pins to check, and we can go from there. So I guess I'll get set up and do it again. I just definitely want to make sure that it's a bad computer, especially since it's got to go to another shop if it is. I don't want to, don't want to, oh, look at here, he said a computer and it wasn't, and I want to make absolutely sure. So, oh, and I got a box of wore out goodies, and I got to see the inside of Mama Bear's motor, and it's actually pretty clean. So, not sure what the deal, why the, oh, he said, yep, you can have that box. So I'll grab the parts. So we'll take a look at those when we get to the farm here. Okay, update. Stopped at the post office. It's too heavy to go first class mail, so it's got to go. And my choices are standard mail and or if I use a priority. Actually, priority package is more than what the shipping should be. If I send those through, it's $11-12 it should be to send these ratchets. So like I said, I'm asking $25 for them, so it'd be $35, $36, 25. God, I can't think. $36, $37. Sorry. for these, so we got that. I'm going to get out and show you guys the parts, but hey, I guess, you know, one of you YouTubers last night, you made a video and I watched it, and yeah, you're right. I don't realize how many people I've helped because I'm still going. And you said I'd work circles around you, and you're half my size and you're having more issues. Well, if you go back when I started the channel and watch some of the older videos and see how I've changed over the last few years, and here recently it's changed even more. Yeah, I was like you, bud. 26 different meds twice a day. Thought I was dying. I couldn't walk, stand, sit. Couldn't concentrate on it. I thought I was. I thought I was dying. And I do not suggest that anybody stops taking their medications that the doctors put on you. I would never suggest that you self-medicate yourself. But for me, I don't know, thanks to the internet and that and some things, I started realizing the troubles I was having with all these meds. And I suggested my doctor too. I think the meds that they had me on is what's caused all these kidney stones. So I slowly took myself off all my meds, didn't tell my doctor. They had me on high blood pressure, this, that, and everything else. Depression and anxiety stuff, and oh yeah, it's just a hell of a mess. I decided to take myself off it, and like I said, it was about a year and a half after I took myself off all the meds, he finally, hey, don't you need refills of this? I'm like, nope. He goes, why? I said, I haven't taken that stuff in a year and a half. And he's like, huh? I said, I weaned myself off it, got off it. He said, well, your blood pressure's been perfect. I said, I know. I am so sick of being looked at as a big person. Oh, you got high blood pressure, bad cholesterol. Oh, you sit at the table and eat everything in sight. No, I don't. My weight gain was caused by the damn depression medicines. And for the ones that you don't know, it took me to 580 pounds. I was heading to 600 fast or more. And I couldn't figure it out. I wasn't eating junk foods. I wasn't eating a lot of food. I'm like, what is going on? Well, then thanks to the internet, I started researching the medicines I was on, and I'm like, oh. So yeah, you cannot go cold turkey off any medications you've been on any time. Or if you're drinking a bunch of pop and you decide to quit drinking pop, do not go cold turkey. That's just as bad as going cold turkey with your medications. Yeah, I'm having a rough time right now. I don't have a lot of people to talk to. The wife knows about that, but she just, sometimes I'm just looking for another ear to listen. And yeah, I know sometimes I freak out, and well, I don't mean to, but not being on the medications, it's a little tough. I had to learn to control my temper years ago. Otherwise I probably would have had a stroke at about 25, 26. No, let's see. I think I was 27 when I had, so yeah, well, yeah, 25, 26, I probably would have had a stroke if I hadn't learned how to control my temper. But I know God will lead you to it. He'll lead you through it. And sometimes we don't like God's timing. We want it in our time, and it's not how it's meant to be. I'm still trying to get down to North Carolina and get those tools. And there's days I wonder, why am I even thinking about that? But trying to keep the faith and trying to I get up. I mean, I got to do something. I cannot. A friend of mine offered, no, why don't you move over here with me? And then I can't handle sitting around doing nothing. It drives me absolutely insane. But anyway, I mean, I'm glad that a lot of you have gotten back in your shops, started back on your projects. You've decided, hey, this big boy can do it. I can do it. And you know, there's just days that we're only human. We were created with emotions and feelings and everything else, and sometimes you just lose it. And sometimes you break down and you just cuss the creator big and bad. Why are you doing this? What's it? And you know what? He listens. He lets you chew him out. But in the end, he still loves us. And evidently he still loves me, because he woke me up again today. I know a person can only do what they can do. But I've been trying to change how things go and control it a little more. But right now I've lost the art out here at the farm. I just haven't had the ambition to get on the mowers and get them fixed. Well, actually, somebody was supposed to come back and finish mowing this for me, and hasn't, so, which is no big deal. I guess this is going to end up being a 2-video day, because I'm going to put this one up while I'm working on the Denali, and that's still sitting right there. And you know, I thank everybody for all the comments and the private messages and the phone calls and everything. I know we all got problems in this world. Everybody's got problems. If you ain't got problems, you really got a problem if you think you ain't got a problem. And a lot of people kind of go through life without... how the heck did that go? One time I had something that I said, and a lot of people speak without speaking, and a lot of people listen without listening. And I guess that's how we treat the Lord or God, Jesus, or whoever you believe in. I guess that's how we treat, or if you don't even believe in anybody. I mean, it's our right to be independent and think how we want to think. I mean, I look back at it, I've come a heck of a long ways in these last few years. Yeah, I had to give up my woodworking. I really didn't want to. Yesterday I was about ready to figure out how to make a couple of calls and say, hey, it's time. So I've had offers of being bought out. But if I get bought out, I know I got my grandchildren and that, but can't just live for the grandchildren. You can't just live for our kids. You got to live for yourself, and you got to be happy with yourself too, so the other ones around you will be happy too. I was thinking about taking... I really don't know how long the car that the sister gave Squirrel is going to last. And we already own the Dodge Stratus, and Crystal really likes that too. Or Squirrel likes that too. I almost went to talk to my cousin that sells cars to see if he'd be interested in buying it, just to fix the problem here. And you guys are going to go, well, you said you can't live where you know, Crystal wanted the Sonoma, and I talked to her before we trashed it, and she kind of seen the point. She was like, yeah, it is pretty rough, and mice got in it and it stunk, and she understood, but she still might get to drive the Sonoma. Like I said, if I get my hands on some roll bar or tubing and that, and we can get a motor in there and get it wired up, like I said, I showed I got the thing, we can make a little farmyard beater out of that for her. Do a sheet metal body on it of her own, just to keep the motor from getting totally wet and that, and she could still have fun with that. So that's kind of why I haven't hacked that truck in half and made a pickup box trailer out of it. But there's been other vehicles that Squirrel has wanted that we've ended up selling. And, you know, I went through that with my parents. A lot of stuff I wanted and I never got. And I know it's kind of stupid, but when you go through life, every Christmas I asked for a couple of toys. People remember the old catalogs. I can't remember if it was Sears or JCPenney's. They had a great big toy section. And back then the toys were cheap. I mean, a couple bucks here. A train set for $13. Come on. Every Christmas come and go. And then the family got mad at me because I finally stopped asking for stuff, because I said, that one year I told them, I said, why ask for it when you guys never get me anything on my Christmas wish list? I didn't. I know, looking back, times were tough. But it messed me up. It shouldn't have, but it has. I'll admit it. And just like out here, I want to put up another building, but part of me is like, it's not original or nothing, but yet I got to get it through myself. This isn't my farm to use. Basically belongs to my kids, but it's my farm to use. So if I decide to put up a building here, it shouldn't bug me, but it does, and I don't know why. I know you guys are probably thinking, boy, this guy's just nuts, but just talking to you guys right now, I can feel the stress coming off. Yeah, it's easy to blame our parents for how we are and that in our childhood. No. They may have some of the deal with how we got to where we are. But like for me, I had to reach down deep inside. It was hard. My dad used to knock me around. Usually you get knocked down the stairs. I got knocked up the stairs. All because I told my niece and nephew at the time they were doing something I knew was wrong, was going to get them in trouble. I told them no, not to do it. Well, they went and said something to my dad. And my dad was a drinker and that. And he's like, you're not old enough to tell those kids what to do. And next thing I know, I went from the bottom of the stairs to the top of the stairs. All because I tried keeping my niece and nephew from getting in trouble with what they were doing. I got in trouble in school in 5th grade. I just don't like touching dead things. I can go hunting. It can be alive. I know I'm the one that shot it. But the second I've killed it, I can't touch it. I've been that way with all animals. Well, 5th grade, during biology, and I hate biology because you know what that means. We had cow hearts and lungs and that, and one of the requirements of the teacher at that time wanted us to do is go basically stick your hand inside the heart and feel and feel how that feels and that. And I'm like, no. Now, this is 5th grade, mind ya. That teacher, I won't say her name. I know she's dead and gone. But she come over. I'm sitting at my desk, and the rest of the class, I'm back at the corner, as far away from that stuff I could get. Puts me in a headlock and says, "You're going up there and you're going to do this." I'm like, I'm trying to fight her. She puts me in a headlock, and in front of the whole class, she drags me up to that table where the animal parts are, and she stuck my hand inside that heart. That's basically when my schooling went to hell. Because after that, I stopped asking questions. I stopped raising my hand. I was along for the ride. When it come to high school, and I could spend most of my time in shop class or FFA, so I could stay at that end of the building, that's where I was. And then during FFA, we're older. You think the kids would be nicer? No, they're meaner. My mom ruined it for butchering chickens. I wanted to be interested in it. Mom felt I was too young at the time. I was hiding behind the old silage pit wall. Mom figured out I was there, so she thought she'd teach me a lesson. And she chopped the head off that chicken and didn't hold on to it and let it run. And if anybody's butchered chickens, you know what happens. I don't know how that chicken's body did it, but it come running exactly where I was, so I took off running. And I heard Mom say, "Well, that'll teach him." Well, then next year come around to butcher chickens, they thought I was old enough, and they wondered why I didn't want nothing to do with it. So in shop class, or the FFA class, one of the things they decided to do is butcher some chickens during class. I'm like, I told the instructor, I said, I'm not good with it. And he says, "You just sit on the chair and watch." He said, "But if you think you're going to get sick," the bathroom was right there. I said, "Yeah, I'll try not to." And I was doing good. And the instructor got called away. Well, everybody else figured out that I did not enjoy this. One or two of them come up behind me, grabbed me in that chair and held me, and the other one scooped up a handful of the chicken stuff and come at me. And they thought it was funny as hell. I sure didn't. But anyway, what I was getting to when I started into this is the abuse and that I went through. I swore up and down I was not going to pass on to my kids. I had to reach deep inside, and I stopped it with me. Because I didn't want to pass it on. I haven't passed it on. But what got passed on, the screaming and yelling part, that kind of comes from the other side of the family. Yeah, I've raised my voice. I've done that. But the actual knocking around, abuse, yeah. That's kind of made me why I don't. A lot of you have said, "Hey, you've got my number, call me." I don't want to feel like a burden to everybody. Because, you know, every time I tried doing something when I was younger, I got either told to shut up, or got teachers forcing your hand in, or another PE teacher if you didn't. After 5th grade, prior to 5th grade, I was a small child. After the 5th grade, I think when I went in the middle school, which is 6th, 7th, and 8th that was here, I went from about 120 pounds to, well, by the time I was a freshman in high school, I was 220 pounds. And it just kept growing. Because every time I opened my mouth, I was either wrong or it wasn't what somebody wanted to hear. So yeah, I know I got you guys' number, but part of me some days is just like, are they really wanting to listen? Or will they listen? I know you guys will, because the texts and chats we've had, you guys are pretty damn good. And you know, when I used to have friends come by and hang out with me and just be around, I mean, things would get done, but working by myself, it's just... And then last year when I thought I really could go back to work and do that again, and worked, what, 4 or 5 days, and it took up until just a few months ago before I could really walk normal again since that. So, yeah. That really set a blow to me, too, because, holy cow, I thought I really crippled myself, because the injections and everything I went through to get to where I could walk again, it wasn't good. So, I sure didn't plan on making this kind of a video today. And if you guys managed to watch it all the way through, thank you. But I'm going to show you guys the parts and that for the Cadillac here in the next the video that'll be coming up later tonight, because this one I'll upload while I'm working. I guess now you guys kind of know why I am the way I am and why I do the things I do. And a lot of you don't agree with what I do, but that's your right to not agree with what I do. What I do makes sense for me at the time, in my situation, but it ain't always right. Haven't seen one of those around here in a long time. Big old bumblebee flying around. But so, I guess I'm going to go in and get myself gathered, and we'll get to work. So, anyway, thanks again. And y'all take care and keep your shops busy and keep your projects going, because somehow, one way or another, I'm going to pull that off here too. So, all right, see you later. Have a good one.